Thank you. Thank you guys for being patient with me. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, so yeah, how did you guys do this week? Were you able to stick to a plan? Did you have any successes, any failures? We had a couple things going on in the last week. We had Cinco de Mayo yesterday. I don't know if any of you guys had any May the 4th be with you parties on Sunday. We'll talk about that in a little bit. My week actually goes from Sunday to Saturday. So those two things that I just mentioned were actually in this week's plan. But how did you do? I'll tell you how I did in a minute. I just thought I would give you guys a chance to chime in so I don't do all the talking. I do have a tendency to do that sometimes. So I'm trying to be oh, there's a word I'm looking for. Trying to make sure I give you guys some ample time. Well, hello, Sharon. How are you tonight? Come on in, join the group. We're having a good time. We're talking about successes. If anybody had some successes as far as eating and sticking to a plan this past week, because I will share mine in a minute. I figured I'd open the floor to everybody else first. And I will tell you, I am so thrilled to have this group. And I'll tell you why about that in just a second. There's a lag here, so I'm not sure. You don't have to share. Nobody has to jump in here and share. That's totally fine. I'm going to share. Guys, I had the best week I have ever had, ever, in my entire weight loss journey. Ever. The best week. So I was very, very excited. I lost 7 pounds last week. 7. I'm telling you, it never happens. And I stuck to the plan. If you watched my video yesterday, you probably saw a bit of it. Thanks. Oh, yeah, I hate when it does that. I hate that. Okay. I'm trying to put these things. It did this thing now. Well, I will be taught saying that. Oh, it's got both of them. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So if you watched my video yesterday, you saw me scan over this in the video. So this is my my tracker, basically. We used to get trackers from Weight Watchers, actual physical trackers, and they stopped that when they started with the app, which I like the app, but I like to actually physically write things down. So this is very helpful to me. And I do have a file for this, by the way, a PDF, if anybody is interested. And I think it can be used for any of your Weight Watchers plans if you're doing it. I've modified it a little bit, but the front has a place for you to mark off the 35 weekly points. I have on mine 3 spots for exercise because that's what I've challenged myself to do, is to exercise a half an hour 3 times a week. And then also on mine, I have a place for measurements, and then I have a place to weigh in and then record what I've gained or lost. But I kept track all week last week. I tracked really, really well, and I did really well. But I've done really well before. See, this is the thing. So I'm very excited because I mean, quite seriously, I have done very well, followed plans very well in the past, and I have never lost that amount of weight in 1 week before. I mean, 3 pounds is a big deal. So if you're new, I mean, I don't know how many of you are new to dieting and all that stuff, where you're at in your wellness walk here, but it's more common to lose, and it's better for you to lose between like a half a pound to 2 pounds a week. Anything more than that is really, I would say, I frowned on. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but the first week, often people have bigger gains, and then it just kind of evens out after that. So, and I've done the first week a few times, the best first week that I have ever had. So that, I mean, success breeds success. So if you have success, you are more likely to continue. And that's why we're here, is to try to help each other have success. So if you are trying to follow a plan and you're having difficulties, do chime in at any time, and let us know, and we'll try to work through that with you. And I know that we have people from many different types of plans that come in here. We had last week people doing carnivore, and I know some people that may be watching that do keto. All of those things are okay. We're not going to try to promote one or the other to you. I mean, if anybody's interested, we could have, maybe speakers or whatever talk about them. But I know the Weight Watchers plan, and the one that I'm using right now is their old core plan. It's probably, well, shoot, in my video, I figured out that I started the plan in 2006. And I had reached my goal weight by the end of the year in 2007. So it's that old. It's that old. Um, and I did the best on it. And what the core plan is on Weight Watchers is basically there was a list of foods that you could eat from. And then there were some foods that they said only have once a day, for one meal a day. And then you had the Weight Watchers points that they're well known for. They gave you a weekly total of points that if you went off the plan, if you went outside of those foods and added something to it, like bread is not a core food, you could use up some of those weekly points. And so you weren't, I've never felt deprived. I said that in the video yesterday. When I follow Weight Watchers, follow it for real. When I lost all the weight I lost, I never felt deprived. I ate whatever I wanted. Now, within reason, I didn't eat all that I wanted all the time, but I ate what I wanted. Nothing was off limits. I just planned for it. Hey, Kathy, oh, come on in. You're not late. We're happy to have you. So anyways, so that's the one that I follow. And if anybody needs a plan, that's the one that I can help you with. And I don't know, my friend Sawdust may or may not come. I got an email from her last week, and I'm not sure if she was asking me for the plan or not. So if you actually want the plan, let us know, and I'll put my email because I don't have it up here now. Well, hey, SMB, welcome. Come on in. You can email me. I'll give you my email address if you guys want it. And let me know. Make it abundantly clear that you want me to send you the plan information, the weight loss plan information. And I can also send you, like I said, I can send you my handmade tracker as well. So I have, and the way I did this tracker was on one side, I made a larger margin so that it could be put 3-hole punched and put into a binder, just so I can hang on to it and refer back to it. So yeah, and welcome everybody. Thanks for being here, and I'm glad that you're here. Don't forget to click the thumbs up if you would do that as well, because I think there's a lot of people out there that could really use a group like this, and we want YouTube to let them know about it. I looked for years and years for a live weight loss support group. Now, I would prefer to do it in person, to be quite honest with you, but this works for me too. This works better for me than Zoom. I did Weight Watchers on Zoom during COVID, and I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it because if you wanted to, I don't know if you haven't noticed, any of you that have been around a while, I like to talk. And in Zoom, there were so many people in the meeting that you had to raise your hand to say something. So here in the chat, if you're like me and you want to say something, you can say whatever you want to say in the chat, whenever you want to say it. So that's, I think this is working a little bit better, even than that. So anyways, everybody that's just coming in, the first thing that we were talking about was, do you have any successes to share? How was your week last week? Did it go the way you expected it to go? I don't know if everybody here is trying to follow, some sort of an eating plan or whatever, but if you are and you had success, We would love to hear that. I had tremendous success. I was telling people before some of you guys came in that I lost 7 pounds last week. 7 pounds on my first week. That's unheard of. At least in my world, it's unheard of. And I didn't do like Biggest Loser type gym workouts and stuff. It was 90% my food intake, and I worked really hard on the water. I did not succeed on drinking enough water. Thanks, Susan. I did not, yeah, Suzanne says that her biggest or her best success was to reduce late night eating. Um, I Yeah, Kathy, was it you last week that said that you could tell us what, what you ate on February 2nd, whatever? That was funny. Um, anyway, yeah, I have a hard time with the water, and I think that it's important to drink water, not other beverages. So while I drink other beverages, because I drink other beverages, it keeps me from drinking the water. So I think that hey, Karen, thank you. I think that when I did it before, I found that I almost had to drink, like I had to cut out all the extra beverages in order to get the water. But yes, it was a good week. So, but let's talk about this week. So we talked about that. We're going to get to the ideal weight range in a few minutes, but let's talk about this week. So I said before, there's a lot of stuff going on, and my week starts on Sunday. So I weigh in on Sunday, and my week starts on Sunday. So I go from Sunday to Saturday. So last week there was nothing. There were no distractions, nothing. We did our meeting. It was great. I was, hit the ground running. This week on Sunday, I had a retirement party, which was May the 4th be with you. I had a retirement party. So we had all of that food. Then yesterday was Cinco de Mayo. Now I could have not done anything for Cinco de Mayo, but we did go out for Cinco de Mayo. So how I did it, let's back up. I said very early on that I'm so glad for you guys, because in the past, because here's the thing, I'm done with all my points, all my extra points. And in the past, I would have tried to have reverted to the other Weight Watchers plan, which actually, because core is a little bit more restrictive if you're going to be eating out or doing stuff like that. But I'm not switching back and forth on plans. I just don't want to. So I'm going to have to be like spot on with the program for the rest of the week, which is going to be very challenging. And I may not be able to stick spot on to the plan. So that's why I'm grateful for you in this regard. First of all, I have the accountability. That was the whole point of this. So next week I'm going to come in here and I will tell you how the week went so far. And I won't say that it was bad Sunday and Monday, because I allowed myself to do that. I enjoyed that party and I enjoyed Cinco de Mayo. It just means I have to be more mindful the rest of the week, because it happened at the beginning of the week and not the end of the week, which is why I set my week up from Sunday to Saturday, so that if usually your big things happen like Friday and Saturday, and then that way I can save up my extra points for the weekend so that I have them for those big events. And it didn't happen this week. So I'm kind of already behind the 8 ball. But with the accountability, which is awesome, because I've told the whole world now what I'm doing, I will stay, because in the past, I'm telling you, the yo-yo for the last 3 or 4 years has been unbelievable. And so I would have something like that where for 2 or 3 days, I just was off the plan. And then, throw it out the window, because what the heck? This is too hard. I can't do it. Even on the heels of a 7-pound loss, I would probably have done that. So that's why I'm very grateful for you guys. That's why I did this. And hopefully hopefully our group can help um, all of you as well. I mean, that was the whole goal, is that we help each other. So yeah, the whole world knows the house. Yes, it does. So, but anyway, so yes, it was a good week last week. It's starting off to be a challenging week this week. Now, when I went to the party Sunday, I did tell myself that I was allowed one plate, and I was only allowed one entree because they had two different entrees there. It was only allowed one entree, so I picked one entree. Um, and I picked the pasta. They had pasta and then they had some beef. And the beef was probably closer to plan than the pasta was, but I never get to have pasta. So that's not true. I don't eat it very often, especially not on the plan, unless that's a whole other thing. So I let myself have the pasta. I wasn't going to eat anything sweet. I wasn't going to have the cake because I'm not a big fan of cake anyway. I mean, I'll eat it, but it doesn't do it for me. Until I saw that there were brownies. Brownies are my nemesis. So I had brownies. Um, and then I did allow myself one drink, which was actually very easy to do because they didn't have anything there that I like, any of the wine that I drink. So I had one drink and that was enough. Um, so anyway, so I pretty much did what I said I was going to do, and I didn't beat myself up for it, and I was good. And then yesterday for lunch, well, for breakfast, I was out of my cereal. I've been eating shredded wheat, and I was out of it for breakfast. So I don't remember what I could tell you, but the things over on the other side. um, I had something, and I had a very, very light lunch yesterday, knowing that we were going to go out for dinner. So we did. We went out, and I ordered Pollo Loco, I think is what I ordered. It didn't have cheese or anything on it, but it was a grilled chicken, and it did have rice, and it wasn't brown rice, so it wasn't on my plan. Um, but I didn't have any rice or potatoes earlier in the day. So anyway, I did what I could, but I had a margarita because you can't do Cinco without a nice margarita. At least in my world, you can't. So I did have a margarita. But yeah. And I stuck to plan today, except I did have, well, no, that's not true. I didn't. I'm lying to you already. I had leftovers from last night because I didn't eat it all. Well, I'm kind of proud of that too, though. You didn't eat it all. It did have lots of chips, though. It did have chips because they were way behind because it was Cinco de Mayo and we were starving. So we'll talk. Actually, that's a good subject for another time. We're not going to get into that today. Talking about strategies to help yourself avoid situations like that where I was starving and the food was taking too long. So anyway, that was so you guys get to be along for the ride, get to see how the week goes. But anyways, let's talk about healthy weights. What are healthy weight ranges? I knew what mine was because I did Weight Watchers before. So when I went out looking for this, it was very easy for me to find, excuse me, the right chart, the right, whatever, because I kind of knew what mine was. So, excuse me, I went and found a proper one because there's tons of them out there. And not that any of them are right or wrong, I don't know, but I went with the one that Weight Watchers basically used in the past. So I'm going to show the men's one first, and it's going to be old school here, just in case there are any men that watched. I don't think there's any in the chat tonight, but maybe there'll be some men that will watch the replay or whatever. And you guys can see this here. My phone should flip this, so you should be able to see this. Yeah, I can see it on my tablet. So these are the healthy weight ranges for men, and I won't go through them all because, like I said, I don't think we have anybody in the chat right now that's male. But if you're watching, here's your chart. But we're gonna go over the woman one. together a little bit. The I'll show it to you here in a second. So this is a range. It is possible. Well, I'm going to do like one of my favorites on YouTube does. They call it BMI ranges, but it's it, I'm not using the BMI numbers. It goes by your height and then the weight range. And there were several out there. There was one, and it's on my phone, so I can't do it. I forgot to send it to my other phone so I could show you. There's like 4 or 5 different ways to find them, but they do call them BMI, healthy BMI ranges. But the BMI is a different number. It's like I don't know, Kathy, you probably know. It's in the 20s, the BMI ranges. But this is broken down into the actual weight that equals the healthy BMI. So anyway, for women, this is our healthy weight range. And I'm 5'6", so my healthy weight range is from 115 to 150, which is why when I did I'll show this to you again. Why I did Weight Watchers in the past, I picked 135 because it was right in the middle of it. But I started to say that I'm going to take a page from somebody that I watch on YouTube and say, is it possible to be too thin? We all know the answer, but chime in. Is it possible to be too thin? So we also want to be careful of that too, because as we grow here, it is possible that somebody that could come in here that may have a weight issue the other way. And we have to be careful that, you don't want to get, so for me, I'm 5'6". To go below 115 is not good. It's not healthy. It's a little dangerous. So you guys aren't responding. That was your cue to put in the chat a yes or a no. It helps keep that algorithm up. The more you guys chat and talk in the comments. I'm joking. You don't have to do that now, but that's why I did it. So you guys can find on here your height, and then that'll give you the range of where to go for. And then Weight Watchers did, when I first joined, they only had a 10% goal. So your first goal wasn't even the full amount that you needed to lose. It was, your first goal was supposed to be like 10% of your weight. Well, the last time I did it, they were going at 5%, which is more of an easier thing to obtain. So, yeah, it's easier to do things in smaller bites. Oh, that's wonderful, Susan. Thank you guys for chiming in. Yes, it is possible. And there are people that have the same issues that I have on the other end of the spectrum. They also have at that end of the spectrum. But yeah, making goals too is very important. How many of you have weight loss goals right now? Do you have a weight loss goal? Some sort of an eating goal? Do you use a goal? I guess I have a goal. I mean, I have in my mind my ultimate goal, but I think I'm going to do well, I blew past actually the first one. The first one was 5 pounds. Who knew? But anyways, my first one I think will be the 5% goal, which I'm actually not too far away from. So Kathy's got a goal. Kathy's she's looking to lose 20 pounds. And Suzanne, thanks for chiming in. Kathy's going to try to lose 20 pounds. And Suzanne's like, yep. Yeah. Kathy hates to change clothing sizes. And there you go. That's an important one. Hold on. Let's get that up there right now. SMB says that her goal right now is to quit eating after dinner. And she wants to start with 10 pounds. So sometimes we don't even have that's a really good non-scale goal, Susan. That's a really great non-scale goal, is to just make, to say, okay, once I have my dinner, I'm done. And I'm trying to do that too. I have a really hard time on Wednesday nights with that. Um, those of you that know me from my other channel know that I have Wednesday night sales, and they sometimes they go kind of late, and I eat afterwards. It doesn't matter if I had dinner because I have dinner like usually around 4:30, but I eat afterwards. So I've been trying to, well, I've been doing this for a week, right? Last week, what I did try to do was I tried to make sure that I had a healthy snack ready after my sale so that I could eat that healthy snack. But quite honestly, I really shouldn't be eating that late at night. So I'm with you. Um, Suzanne says 120 for 5'7" is too thin. Might be, might be. One of the things that I looked at actually differentiated between your frame size as well. Uh, how many of you have told people when you gain weight, I'm big bone? Years ago, I'm sure I probably tried that one. I'm big bone, but here's the thing. So that's why I didn't use that one, because I think that we all would like to think that we're, big bone when we're really not. Um, it says to go by your wrist size. And I have a tiny wrist. I really do have a tiny wrist. So I can't, so quite literally, I can't say, even now that I'm heavy, my wrist is very small. So I can't, I can't claim the big frame. So 120 on me would probably be quite thin. I was pretty good when I picked that middle of the road for my height, and I was pretty happy with that weight. I needed to tone up my muscles and stuff, but I was pretty happy with that weight. But anyway, so yeah, a bunch of you have weight goals, and and some non-scale goals, which is wonderful. So yeah, so we'll have to see how you do next week. You have to tell us, keep track of that, and then you can tell us if you met your goal. So I had goals from last week. I think I alluded to them earlier. I had some goals. One goal was to track, and I did that. I succeeded at that goal. The other goal was to exercise 3 times, which to me, exercising is a half an hour. And I was able to do that. So that's pretty awesome. Um, and then did I have another goal? I don't remember. Those were the 2 main goals, was to track and to exercise. So this week, I don't know if I have a goal. The goal is to stick with it. This week's goal is just to stick with it after 3 days in a row of not really following my plan. Anyway, so that's that. But I have to tell you, I have another thing to share with you. Last week yeah, I'll talk about that. So hopefully I won't forget. Last week I tried a bunch of different recipes. And that's one thing that is very hard for me in following a plan, is that I don't like to cook, and two, I'm trying to think of what the word is for it. Um, Protective, that's the word. I'm so protective of my time because I don't feel, yeah, Suzanne, you're right. I don't feel like I have enough time for everything that I want to do. So I'm very protective of my time. And what winds up happening outside of the plan is that I wind up making for dinner whatever is the fastest. Um, Usually frozen food. Well, I spent that's a whole nother story. Last year, anybody who doesn't know me, we had a very challenging year financially. So I couldn't eat out. We couldn't go and get fast food. But we did eat a lot of frozen food and stuff that just was really fast and not the greatest. Um, but now that that's changed somewhat, yeah, the inclination was to go and get food. so that, or order in or whatever, so that we didn't have to cook. I didn't have to cook. So this past week in order to stay on that plan well, I had to make a lot of food. Okay. So, but it made me look up some recipes. So I did some different things last week. And I found one recipe that I really, really enjoyed, and you guys are going to probably like it too. It's great for the summer, and it's corn, tomato, avocado salad. And I'll put it up here. Let's see if I can read it when it comes up down here on my tablet, because it'll turn it around. So what you do is you actually prepare corn on the cob. We tend to boil it, but you get corn kernels from a corn on the cob, so it's fresh. A medium avocado, and you dice the whole thing. Excuse me. 1.5 cups of diced Persian baby cucumbers. Now, interesting, it says diced here. I sliced it. I sliced ours. Maybe I'll try them diced this next time. I don't know. I made it 2 or 3 times last week. That's how good it was. So I had never heard that they were called Persian cucumbers. I just call them baby cucumbers. They're little ones like that. 1 cup of halved cherry tomatoes, 2 tablespoons of diced red onion, 2 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil. And on my plan that I follow, I can have those 2 teaspoons of olive oil as part of the plan. And I'm supposed to have it. I have to have it. And sometimes it's hard to get the olive oil. Although right now I'm finding I also am supposed to have dairy. I know there's a lot of you out there that don't do dairy, but for now, that's what I'm doing. And I'm supposed to have 3 because of my age, 3 servings of it, and I find that the hardest to get in. Um, but it has the extra virgin olive oil, which is really good. And then 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon or lime juice. And I use lime juice. And I also put fresh cilantro in there as well. Some salt and some pepper. And you guys, oh my gosh, it's so good. So good. Hey Tally, come on in. Glad to have you here. The one of the things that I really like about the core plan is that I am able to eat what I need to eat until I feel satisfied. So I couldn't tell you what the serving size is of that, because all of that was on the core plan, and I could eat what I needed to eat. So that doesn't make that much. So it's not like I was gonna, gorge on it or anything, but I could eat what I could eat. So that works for me. But we can talk about in a future meeting, we can talk about serving sizes and things like that for those of you that need that. If you're just starting a plan, if you've never done a plan before, you're going to probably need to be very mindful of your serving sizes so that you don't go overboard. Again, it's funny. It's like muscle memory. Once I got into doing this, it became like, oh, it's like putting on an old hat or something, or, a warm, comfy sweater. Like I remembered it. It's like, oh yeah, I know this. I can do this. So yeah, so some of you out there, actually, maybe there's somebody coming in that is watching the replay, catches us later on down the road, and you have a lot of weight to lose. I have maybe 50 or 60 pounds to lose, so that's significant. But maybe you have more than that, and you need extra help. Please don't feel bad about. I don't have my email in the thing right now. I'll try to remember to look for it. I have a Gmail account for Well for Wandering, so just wellforwandering@gmail.com. It's not my main one, so I'll try to look there. But you're more than welcome to reach out, and I can help in any way that I can. At least now, while we're small, I can do that. But it's just a matter of doing one day at a time and taking little bits, little goals, small goals. The goal, like Susan's goal of not eating after dinner. Maybe that's the best that you can do for now. I would suggest if anybody's needing, without jumping into a full-fledged eating plan, first thing you can do is to cut out sugary drinks. No full sugar sodas or juices. Don't do it. First thing. That right there is a big healthy bonus. The next thing that I would suggest is what was I gonna say? I had two. The first one was to not drink any soda. Um, it'll come to me. I was gonna tell you, it wasn't something that you should do, it was something that I did. This was a while ago, and it didn't, I mean, it helped, but I'm sure that if I had added it back in again, I would have seen a difference. But because I wasn't really following a plan, I didn't see much difference. But I used to drink coffee. Well, I still do. I drink coffee every morning, but I used to drink it with tons of cream in it. And so then for a while I switched to fat-free creamer because that was actually on one of the plans. And so I had that every morning. And then I also did artificial sweetener. Well, I was trying once upon a time to get rid of um, stop using as much artificial sweetener. So I cut that out, and then eventually I cut the creamer out too. And then Suzanne said water. Yes, water. Actually, if you drink what you're supposed to of the water, and it's different for everybody. They recommend 6 to 8 ounce glasses of water for each person. But if you're really small and petite, you might not need as much. So I think you kind of have to gauge that because I think that is everybody's just a little bit different. But for most people, 6 to 8 glasses of water is good. And Tally, I would love to find out how to do electrolyte water. Do they sell um, electrolyte packages? Because I've thought about this before. I know a lot of people that do keto do electrolyte water because you don't want to drink Gatorade for electrolytes. You don't. And I know that salts are some, but I don't know. It's something that I don't know very much about at all. Kieran, hey, it's good to see you. Come on in. Oh, you buy the bottles of electrolyte water on Amazon. Well, that's good to know. Good to know. Oh, good night, Sharon. Thanks for coming and have a great week and hope to see you next week and you can share with us how it went for you. Um, so anyway, you put some drops of it in your regular water. Well, that is really good to know. I bet that really does help. Because sometimes I think what we need could just be the electrolytes, right? I mean, I really do think that that's true. Really do. So, anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you make that salad, let me know. And next week, why don't you all try to bring a recipe? And here's a couple of different ways to do it. You can bring a recipe that you really like that's light that you can share, or you can bring one that you would like to make or that you have made in the past, but is not a light recipe and we can work together to lighten it up. That's something else that we could do. That's a very good skill to have to be able to look at a recipe and figure out ways to lighten it up and to try to make it, a little bit more healthy, a little bit easier for, a weight loss plan. So that's something else that we can do. Hey, we actually went a little bit longer because there's more of you to talk to me. Thank you guys so much for coming. I do hope that you're getting benefit out of this. Don't forget, if you are getting benefit out of this, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. And it helps, especially in the early stages of our group, if after the video uploads to YouTube, if you guys would go in and leave a comment on the video, an actual comment. That would probably help as well. We want to get it out to as many people as possible because, like I said, I know there are people out there that would really use this. Oh, I started to say earlier that I went out, knowing that I needed a group like this. I went out and searched all over. There's actually a thing called, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but there's an Overeaters Anonymous. I knew a friend years ago that did it. And I thought, well, I could try that, but there was nothing in my area. There was no way to get a hold of. I did online support group searches, all kinds of stuff, and I just didn't get anywhere. So I know there are people out there that could really use it. And then I'm reminded over here, I put this up here tonight. So this is here to remind me and to remind everybody else that it's not a marathon, or excuse me, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So just because I may have had a challenging few days this week, I'm in it for the long haul. So, it'll all even out in the end. So I just have to keep going, so you can plan ahead and do the next days. Um, keep following the plan. So anyway, thank you guys for coming. Please share the video with anybody, or the channel with anybody that you think might benefit from this. Maybe you used to go to meetings with somebody, because you have to be careful. Wait, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm all about the stories. So yesterday I scheduled that first video, and I put a whole bunch of my YouTube friends in there and everything. And I sent out this thing to people saying, hey, you're in my video, come and watch it or whatever. Well, I said, hey, you're in my video. And the title of it was, it's time to lose weight. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I probably offended everybody. They think I'm suggesting, which I wasn't. If you watch that video, you'll know what I'm talking about. So you have to be careful. You have to know that the person that you're suggesting the channel to is somebody who would appreciate it. I didn't think that anybody would get offended by seeing how I had them in the video. If you haven't watched that video, go watch it. Then you'll understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, I kind of sent back. Oh, Karen would know. I sent it to Katie because she was in the video, and I saw it come up on my text thing, and I'm like, oh, and so I put the little laugh emoji, and I said, Katie, this is my weight loss journey. Oh, it's embarrassing, but anyway, but I mean, for everybody that I sent that to, I wonder, I hope I didn't offend everybody, with that. I'm proud of my new channel. I'm telling the world that I'm starting this plan. The more people know, the more accountable I am, right? Anyway, on that note, you guys, it was fun tonight. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. And as Weight Watchers always said, hopefully we'll see less of each other. See you then. Have a good night.